Good evening and welcome to Newsfeed. Today is Tuesday, October 23rd, 2018. I'm Eva Kluting.
And I'm Sophia Kolodzinski. We're excited to have you here watching with us tonight. Let's see what's happening here in Ann Arbor. This past Friday, Bernie Sanders joined Democratic gubernatorial candidate Gretchen Whitmer at the Rackham Auditorium at a Get Out the Vote rally, endorsing her for governor. The two spoke before a full house of 1,400 people and were joined by several other candidates at the top of the Democratic ticket. Addressing the crowd, Sanders called this, quote, the most important midterm election in the history of our country, end quote.
This past Saturday evening, before the University of Michigan versus Michigan State game, player Devin Bush Jr. was seen aggressively shuffling atop the Spartan logo on the field. Michigan State personnel restrained him from further damage, but some State fans were still upset about the incident. When Bush was asked about his actions, he stated that Spartan football players were preventing University of Michigan players from warming up properly, and that ultimately he, quote, just got caught up, end quote.
On Monday, October 22nd, an annual University of Michigan report regarding reports of sexual harassment was released. The findings are as follows: 235 reports of sexual misconduct by faculty, staff, and third-party members in the 2018 fiscal year. This is a 160% increase in misconduct cases compared to last year. While these reports may seem bleak, this report notes that, quote, the increase is the result of our community's enhanced awareness of these issues, how to report concerns, and ongoing training efforts, end quote. In the era of the Me Too movement, this report could be a reminder of the progress we have made in taking sexual misconduct cases seriously. However, it is also a reminder of how far we have to go to prevent these cases from occurring in the first place. Now it's time for a short break. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise and be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
So, same time next week?
Well, of course. Put away a few bucks, feel like $1 million. For free tips to help you save, go to Feed the Pig.
There's a shelter pet who wants to meet you. Meet one today. Visit theshelterpetproject.org. Adopt.
Welcome back to the show. You're watching Newsfeed. Let's get into our national news. Mexico has issued an alert as it anticipates for life-threatening Hurricane Willa. Hurricane Willa is already a Category 4 storm, expected to bring life-threatening flooding and landslides within 36 hours of the issued warning. The storm is anticipated to bring rainfall of up to 18 inches and winds of up to 250 kilometers per hour, expecting to cause major destruction to the areas affected. Just earlier this month, parts of the U.S. were demolished by Hurricane Michael, leaving 27 people dead. This leaves people wondering why these hurricanes are becoming so frequent and what we can do to help these devastating climate events.
And now it's time for the market update. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed lower on Monday at 25,317.41 points, a loss of 126.93 points. This was due in part to a fall in shares of big banks across the board. Both Bank of America and Citigroup fell more than 3%, while JP Morgan Chase and Goldman Sachs closed 1.4% and 2.4% lower respectively. This comes as a result of lower investor sentiment due to a deluge of corporate earnings set to be released this week. Some of the companies scheduled to report are 3M, McDonald's, Caterpillar, and United Technologies. In addition, Amazon and Alphabet are also expected to release earnings. Alongside earnings reports affecting investor sentiment is rising geopolitical tension stemming from the death of journalist Jamal Khashoggi. Khashoggi's death has led to global criticism towards Saudi Arabia and has sent ripple effects throughout global markets. Last week alone, foreign investors reportedly dumped more than $1 billion worth of Saudi stocks.
And now on to the 2018 midterm elections. With just under 2 weeks to go, Cook Political Report, a nonpartisan election handicapper, just released a list of 13 competitive Senate elections. 3 are leaning Democratic: Tina Smith in Minnesota, Robert Menendez in New Jersey, and Joe Manchin in West Virginia. 2 races are leaning Republican. The first is Mississippi in Cindy Hyde Smith, and the second is Kevin Cramer of North Dakota. The remaining 8 are toss-ups: Jeff Flake's open seat in Nevada, Bill Nelson in Florida, Joe Donnelly in Indiana, Claire McCaskill in Missouri, John Tester in Montana, Dean Heller in Nevada, Bob Corker's open seat in Tennessee, and Ted Cruz in Texas. The Democrats need to control more than 50 seats to win the Senate and only have a handful of opportunities to win Republican-held seats in these elections. The Democrats are running defensive campaigns in many of these races, and only time will tell if this strategy will work.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back with some international news.
Your daughter just had her first breakup. Do you A, put yourself in her shoes? B, console her?
Don't worry, sweetie. This is gonna happen a lot.
Or C, find her a new boyfriend?
Nice, single boys. That was weird.
As a parent, there are no perfect answers. But you don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same.
Fancy pants peanut butter? A big screen television? You haven't even bought a sofa yet. A motorcycle? When your father finds out, he's gonna flip his shoes with 2 buckles? What do you even need 2 buckles for? Mr. Big Shot, buying whiskey shots for everybody in the bar. From the looks of it, I'd say nobody even remembers. Feed the pig.
Hart, what's going on? I'm leaving. Why? What did I do? Not enough. You constantly ignore me. You barely eat anything healthy. You're half as active as you used to be. The pressure is just too much. I quit. Okay, I get it. I'll do better. Just, please, don't leave. Okay, but remember, if I go, you go.
Listen to your heart. Don't let it quit on you. Uncontrolled high blood pressure could lead to stroke, heart attack, or death. Get yours to a healthy range before it's too late.
The top under is moved down.
Welcome back to Newsfeed. Now it's time for international news. Thousands of Central American migrants have made their way into Mexico and continue to advance toward the United States border. Despite efforts from the Mexican government to stop the migrants at the border with pepper spray, the group has pushed onward. The majority of migrants left their home country of Honduras to escape poverty, poor working conditions, and violence. Jorge Antonio Perez illustrated the challenges faced by himself and his fellow Hondurans, stating, quote, "We aren't coming from Honduras because we want to. We come because we have to. Crime, basic care, and health in Honduras is bad," end quote. Early Monday morning, the migrant group gathered in Tapachula, Mexico, to decide whether to attempt to cross the border into the United States, as President Trump has threatened to cut off aid to Central America and close the southern border with Mexico if the Mexican government does not stop the migrants.
President Trump has confirmed that the U.S. will withdraw from the monumental nuclear weapons treaty Sunday, October 21st. The deal, formerly known as the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty, or the INF Treaty, is the arms control agreement between the U.S. and the Soviet Union in 1987, signed by former President Ronald Reagan and former leader of the Soviet Union Mikhail Gorbachev. As part of the efforts ending the Cold War, the treaty has eliminated thousands of 300 to 3,000 400-mile land-based missiles from the U.S. and Russia. President Trump claims Russia had breached the deal by developing a new medium-range missile known to the NATO as SSC-8, saying that Russia has, quote, not adhered to the spirit of the agreement or to the agreement of itself, end quote. Both U.S. and NATO officials have criticized Russia for the lack of transparency. Russia and some European leaders believe that withdrawing from the INF can make the world more dangerous, as an INF withdrawal would allow the U.S. to develop a missile similar to the one allegedly developed in Russia. This decision could be a move to contain China, who is not a party to the INF treaty. Mikhail Gorbachev criticized Trump's plan as unacceptable and very irresponsible. Novosti reported, "It was a great victory that we managed to get as far as making decisions enshrined in these treaties that got rid of nuclear weapons and warheads." Gorbachev said, Meanwhile, Russia has defined deploying any short or medium-range missiles and demanded explanations from National Security Advisor John Bolton."
And now, a recent update on journalist Jamal Khashoggi's death. A surveillance video recorded by Turkish law enforcement appears to confirm reports that Saudi agents used a body double as part of an attempted cover-up after killing Khashoggi at the Saudi consulate in Istanbul. The video, obtained and broadcasted by CNN on Monday, shows a Saudi agent walking into the consulate wearing Khashoggi's clothing, along with spectacles and a fake beard to disguise himself as the journalist. The video has only caused more international outrage and mounted pressure on the Saudi government to explain what happened to Khashoggi, who is a critic of the Saudi Arabian government. Khashoggi, aged 59, had been living in exile in Virginia and was in Istanbul to obtain documents for a pending marriage to his Turkish fiancée when he was slain. President Trump has recently displayed his dissatisfaction with the Saudi government's statements regarding Khashoggi's killing, and the Saudi government is expected to cooperate with the United States and provide more information in the coming days. Well, that's all we have for you tonight. I'm Sophia Kolodzinski.
And I'm Eva Kluting.
And you've just been Newsfed.